Yeah, so I mean, it was always the same. Like when we started the V10 stuff, like I've got 4 or 5 blocks sat around, I've got heads sat around, I've got gearboxes sat around. If a DCT turns up, I'll buy it, because I know what you can't get. So if it pops up, then I get my hands on it, and if it sits on the shelf, then it sits on the shelf. But like these last couple of weeks now, we've been doing a DCT for a guy, because it's got the casing leak on a V10 Plus. The casing's on the rear part of the casing, they can leak. So we've pulled it all apart. 4th gear detent's broke. So now, what does he do? Because it's 38 grand for a new gearbox.
Oof.
Yeah. So I got a gearbox in a corner, and I've had to pull a second gearbox apart to harvest the spares I need to get this guy back on the road. So that's just what it is. Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff kicking around in the McLaren world, ex-warranty stuff or ex-GT3 stuff. A lot of race teams are closed up. You just got to be careful, because engines have a life, and if it's an ex-race engine or an ex-development race engine, then you're not getting better than what you've got. You're kind of getting knackered parts, or parts of, we can take, for instance, we mileage our GT3 engine builds, and we know the mileage they've done, and the race teams keep an eye on that, so that when they come back, we know, right, at first refresh it needs X, at second refresh it needs Y. But I can take a crank out of a refresh or a piston out of a refresh that's at life and go, we're going to replace that, and to, I don't know, 999 people out of 1,000, they go, oh, what a mint crank. But it's been battered all its life, and that's, the whole idea of life in components and running life in software for components, which is more popular in race teams, is the stress it's been under, and then when to change what. So any high-level motorsport team be running life in software, because you can't take the risk. What's the point in saving 3 grand now on an engine refresh for when it fails to cost you 20 grand? And that's the difference between the motorsport side and the road side.
Yeah.
The road side is a customer wants their car back on the road, and at what point do you balance the risk against the reward of, say, not changing valve springs or not changing valves or not,
Sure.
So that's the difficulty. But anyway.
Cool. And then obviously a quick update on your R8 project.
I have done nothing with it.
You washed it, or Jordan washed it?
Jordan washed it. I didn't even wash it. So what did we do last? Then Coombe. I took it to Millbrook. So we did the Skoda press day for the Bonneville car, and I took my R8 up on the last day, so I done a couple of laps on a handling circuit.
Okay, so the sort of Alpine route.
Yeah, where they lobbed the James Bond car in Casino Royale. Yeah, not fun at all. It's rubbish. It's rubbish. It probably would be fun in a car that's a lot slower.
Yeah, I've done it in a Megane R26R.
Yeah,
and
okay.
that was fun, because you know your limits, but you still take off at one point.
You just I'm going to stop my car. So yeah, been out on it. What have we done? The turbos are in the engine room. So James and I have just finished Matt Armstrong's car and Matt Armstrong's twin turbo Gallardo, and we've just finished Lee's twin turbo R8. So the last 3 weeks, all we've done is twin turbos. So we've got them two done, and now mine's to be done. The reason that's kind of held up, or I've held James up, is I want perf exits. So I've got a Performante rear bumper over there. I get David to take a photo, and I want to see if I can make it fit my R8. But I can't get him to fab all the turbo kit stuff up, because I don't even know whether I can make it work yet. So everything else we've got, and me putting a MoTeC on has been held up by the fact that we've had all the spark plugs made for the combustion pressure sensor. So that's held that up. And then the connectors I need to plug into the crank sensor, so I can piggyback the crank signal, because the combustion pressure sensor looks at crank rotation in 0.1 of a degree in rotation. So I need to piggyback the OEM crank sensor, and the sensor connector was on back order. So we've got that. We've done the wiring for that. now I need, as OEM car, MoTeC have asked me to take some readings off a stock ECU on a dyno, so I've got to do that. Then I can put the Plex on because I want to measure everything stock and log it stock, combustion pressure before I put the MoTeC on. Then I can put the MoTeC on, then we can put turbos on, and in that time I want to put a bumper on it. And winter's here, and I want to make money, and I want to buy an LT. So first world problems. But no, I think it's getting there. It's just all these ideas in my head, and I mean, if anyone ever comes down and sees, the place is always nuts. And like me and Davey come up with these great ideas to do X, Y, and Z, and we never get time to do anything because the day job gets in the way. I mean, at the end of the day, I can sit there and play with MoTeC or data logging all day long, but what's going to pay the bills? So yeah, look after customers first and then play with our stuff second. But
yeah, and I think that's the point with the channel as well. I mean, we've had some comments about, you know, is this what you do full time? And it's not even close, is it?
No, I mean,
this fits in around a busy workshop.
Yeah. I mean, this is just like today now. By the magic of YouTube, will look like the last 3 weeks we've done a car, but we've filmed everything in a day. You know, what have we done today? Now we've done Pista, giving away the secrets here, done Pista, McLaren, merchandise for a website, sat down and done bits of a website. Then I filmed proper vlogging style. I filmed a twin turbo yesterday, so like David will go home with probably 4 or 5 weeks worth of video stuff to get on with. So yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, it's hard to juggle the stuff you want to do versus the stuff you've got to do.
Yeah.
So and it's just me and Carl, because finding people I can trust with customers' cars is probably the hardest thing I could think of. So finding someone to work here is difficult. We're not smashers. Do you know what I mean? You see these places or people working on cars and they literally will just smash through it. Yeah, we're not like that. And there's a reason. I want it all in-house. I don't want anyone else responsible. It falls on me. So nothing is outsourced except certain machining work on engines. Buck stops here. And even if a machinist cocks up, I still got to pay for it. So the buck stops here anyway.
Regardless.
Yeah. So no, this is, I suppose, what we have been quite conscious of is the videos have sort of drifted more towards actual cars rather than the engine stuff. And the engine stuff is what I geek out on. So I've got a new piston measuring jig turning up, which we'll go through, and we'll do some videos on that. I've bought a couple of Mitutoyo data cables, so we'll go through that. So yeah, we'll go back in the geeky room. But when we got nice stuff in like this, it is nice stuff in like this. It is good to try and capture it on video, so you guys get to see how many of you have seen an LT, or do you know what I mean? So at least you get to see the nice stuff or the pretty cars, but this is the one for me. You can keep your pistas. I'll have one of these.
Watch this space.
Or a 765. They're coming round to those.
Yeah.
2.1 seconds 0 to 60. What did it do? 2.1 0 to 60 in 169 and a quarter, standing quarter. I mean, that is
not shy.
No, do you know what, right? And this is what people need to bear in mind. These get a hard time, right? You get a hard time. They're software heavy. So when your phone winds you up, same kind of thing with your car. But McLaren have been building mass-produced cars for 10 years, and Ferrari and Lamborghini are 60 plus. And these guys have come out of the box and smashed the other two. I'm not kidding, smashed. There's people out there who'll be watching this and go, oh, they haven't got the heritage of Ferrari and they don't do the loony stuff like Lamborghini. But I go and get a real driver and give them the option between a 675 LT, a 488. All right, let's go a Pista. One of these, you would say a 765 probably matches a Pista, and a Perf, and see what a driver picks. These are so nosy, I would imagine they'd pick these 9 times out of 10. And I tell you this, twin turbo R8s, twin turbo Hurricanes coming out the box at what, 1,000 horsepower, 1,200 horsepower twin turbo, and you go and get a 720 for 130 grand, they will hand you your ass. No joke. All this stuff, I mean, you go and look at Air Drive Vented or whatever his name is on Instagram, He's running a 1,000 horsepower 720S with NOS, admittedly, and nothing touches him. He's destroyed sheepy cars, he's destroyed UGR cars, and it's a car out of the box with a set of downpipes and a NOS bottle. Cars of the future, I'm telling you. The wave is coming.
Right, on that note,
I'm out of here because I'm hungry.
see you later, bud.
See you later.